All right. So on the panel here today, we have myself, Anita. I'm Global Campaign Coordinator for Plant-Based Treaty. I'm based in Toronto. James is from the UK, and he'll be co-presenting. Azul is representing Latin America. She helps us with the global animal save movement campaigns. Varun is helping us, and he's just done a video for us, which he will share today. Jennifer has been helping us on the back end, and Nicola is helping us with the slides. And Jennifer's also going to be helping with some of the posting on the chat. So we'll begin now. So yes, so if we could have the slides, that would be great. So in this webinar, we are covering mainly Dr. Brooke Goldner and Thomas Tadlock's work. So what is special about Dr. Goldner's approach? Why are we focusing on what they have to offer? What is special is, and I'd like to quote her, the Green Smoothie protocol is reversing diseases faster than any other program that I know of. And most people feel dramatically better in a matter of weeks to a few months, for a number of illnesses. And there's also a very short prep time for the green smoothie or a big salad full of leafy greens or, and cruciferous vegetables. So there's like 5 minutes prep time. There's no faster or easier way to heal than by making these green smoothies. You can literally nourish your body and save your life with less than 5 minutes of prep time a day, says Brooke Goldner in her book, Goodbye Autoimmune Disease. And I'll pass it to James to talk, just to put out a disclaimer. We are not doctors. So James is going to just read, for example, the disclaimer on.
Thanks, Anita. Hi, everyone. Yes, so neither Anita nor myself are doctors. We're simply relaying the information from the 4 books of Dr. Brooke Goldner and Thomas Tadlock. On her website, Dr. Goldner has this disclaimer, which I'm just going to read now. Neither Dr. Goldner nor anyone associated with Goodbye Lupus organization has or will practice medicine with clients. They will not prescribe medicine or any medical treatment whatsoever. They will not adjust existing medications or treatments. Dr. Goldner and those associated with Goodbye Lupus organization limit their services strictly to guiding clients through a hyper-nutritious diet program. All medical decisions, treatments, and prescriptions are left entirely up to the client's primary care physician. So yeah, just an important disclaimer there. And Thomas Tadlock, Dr. Goldner's husband, said he wrote Miracle Metabolism as he feels he has a duty to get this information out to as many people as possible, because it has helped transform his life and save many lives, including his wife. And social movements like ours can help with that, raising awareness. And the road to hell is paved with good intentions. How many of you consider fast food, ice cream, or soda to be a treat rather than a toxin that it really is?
Thank you. Thank you. So in the next slide, this month we will launch our exciting and life-changing 30-day Green Smoothie Challenge for the month of April. This month we're simply going to promote it, and then we're going to do the 30-day challenge in April. We will ask everyone to try the Hyper-Nourishing Green Smoothie with raw cruciferous vegetables and omega-3 from flax or chia seeds. The recipe is by Dr. Brooke Goldner and Thomas Tadlock. Through engaging content from them and exercises and blender dances, with which Jane Velez Mitchell suggested, because she does that with her show, Good Day, New Day, New Chef. And we're going to do role plays and also Q&A at the end of this webinar. And the topics we will cover is making the smoothie, the recipe, improving your mental health, protecting planetary health, and how to pass it forward with green smoothie advocacy. So I wanted to start with some of the health issues in Canada, and then James, who's from the UK, will talk about UK health challenges, just to give you context, in terms of health epidemics and how we can address them. So there's an increasing burden of chronic disease in Canada, including in children. Chronic disease accounts for the highest causes of death in Canada and the world. Cardiovascular diseases like heart disease and stroke, cancer, chronic respiratory diseases, and diabetes are responsible for 65% of all deaths in Canada each year. Cancer is now the leading cause of death in Canada, followed by heart disease. And Dr. Zara Kassam, who's the head of Plant-Based Canada, helped us with these stats based on journal articles. The incidence of 13 types of cancer is increasing in the number of 50-year-old age group. Children are facing more crises of obesity and diabetes. In 2022, 30% of adolescents aged 12 to 17 were overweight or obese. Obesity is a major factor for the development of type 2 diabetes and other non-communicable diseases. Compared to 10 years ago, the incidence of type 2 diabetes in children in Canada has increased by 60%. In 10 years, type 2 diabetes in children increased by 60%, overall putting them at 2 to 3 times higher risk for mortality compared to the general public. Type 2 diabetes used to be called adult onset diabetes. Now it's called type 2 diabetes because it's so common in children. Because of the aging population, also the total number of people with chronic diseases is increasing, and that puts also a burden on the healthcare system to support this level of illness. And there are solutions. Plant-based diets are more important than ever for prevention, treatment, and reversal of chronic disease. And passing it back to James.
Thanks, Anita. Shocking stats for Canada, and it's the same in the UK and much of the world. Did you know in 2018, only 28% of UK adults and 18% of children aged 5 to 15 ate the recommended 5 portions of fruit and vegetables per day? Increasing plant-based options and introducing plant-based menus and defaults can help increase the consumption of fruit and vegetables. And although the NHS recommends 5 portions per day, 10 portions a day are optimal for health. And if the UK population swapped meat for plant-based for their weekday lunches, a new report that came out just in January of this year found over 11,000 cases of type 2 diabetes could be prevented per year, and 366,000 fewer people could be living with cardiovascular disease. And a 2023 analysis by the Office of Health Economics found that 100% adoption of plant-based diets in England could save the NHS around £6.7 billion per year. There could be 2.1 million fewer cases of disease and a gain of more than 170,000 quality-adjusted life years across England. Research shows a decreased relative risk associated with the vegan diet for many diseases, including cancer, cardiovascular disease, cataracts, type 2 diabetes, diverticular disease, and obesity. Every 1 million people who switch to a vegan diet would generate an estimated 121 million of health care cost savings. Back to Anita.
Thanks, James. So I'd like to tell you a bit about Dr. Brooke Goldner's story. She was diagnosed with lupus at 16 years of age. Like many American kids, she grew up on pizza and Chef Boyardee. Her first symptoms were arthritis, which she just dismissed as maybe overdoing volleyball, then pain in the right shoulder that migrated to the left shoulder. So it was migrating joint pain. Then a rash broke out on her face, which is called a butterfly rash. She thought it was just a teenager thing, and she covered it up with makeup. And then the final symptom that caused alarm were excruciating migraines and accompanying vomiting. Her dad said to her, "The skin is the window to your health." And then at that point, she went to the emergency and she was diagnosed with the most aggressive form of lupus nephritis, stage 4. She might have died in 6 months or might go on dialysis, according to her doctor. so that her future looked so dim, and her mother and grandmother were wailing and really upset. So with lupus in her, what lupus does in your body is it creates a lot of inflammation, and your immune system cannot differentiate between dangerous infections and your organs, so it attacks your organs. It's also progressive, and it gets worse over time and will attack other organs and lead to other autoimmune diseases. So when she did a blood test, it also indicated that she had kidney disease and that she would have to get a biopsy. And then she was offered experimental chemo instead of, the idea of like potentially dying in 6 months or going on a dialysis machine. So she took that, and so she went on 2 years on the on cytoxin, a chemotherapy drug, to stop her immune system from attacking her kidney. Basically, it's shut down her immune system. The chemo damage on her ovaries meant that she couldn't have children, the doctor said, in the future. The kidney disease did go into remission, and she was able to go to medical school, but she was supposed to have a low stress life, get enough sleep, not be in the sunlight. And she writes, and I quote from her book called Goodbye Lupus, quote, "While I did take my doctor's advice very seriously, I also knew I had to follow my heart and dreams. I knew my life had a purpose. I wanted to help others be happier and healthier. I also wanted to experience love and adventure. I was determined to have my life, and I told myself, I will have a life." She encourages you to say, "I will have my life," out loud. It helps, she says. She was happy to have a fairly normal life in university, but she was overworking. And 1 week in medical school, she even worked like 100 hours a week. So she did get a relapse, and she started having episodes of double vision. And she didn't realize that was a mini stroke. She would have to hold a wall for 30 seconds to a minute until her vision cleared. Then she'd get red spots on her nails, and she didn't know what it was from, but it was from blood clots. Then she eventually went to the doctor again, and they said that she had she was in danger of getting a serious stroke or pulmonary embolism, and possibly, be dying again. She was facing, possibly becoming permanently disabled. So she had to start injecting blood thinners each day. But she still felt gratitude for her life. And then luckily she met Thomas Tadlock, her husband, and they together created a plan for her to get fit before their wedding. And he put her on raw veggies, omega-3s, and tofu for protein. And the migraines and arthritis went away. She felt great and healthy, and the indicators for lupus were undetectable. Her body was able to completely reverse the disease simply by fixing her metabolism. After symptom-free for a year, she got off the drugs, including the blood thinner. She says today that she does not consider herself in remission anymore, but rather she does not have a disease because she has been symptom-free for 2 decades. Next slide, please. I'd just like to read this from her book because she's such a beautiful writer, as is her husband, Thomas. She has a chapter in her book, Goodbye Autoimmune Disease, called Being Grateful and Feeling Lucky. Even at 16, Dr. Goldner would say, quote, "I feel lucky to be me. I got upset, but I let it fall away." That's when she heard her diagnosis. "I expressed it. I cried about it. And then I said, I'm still okay. I'm not dead. I will keep living. I'm still here, and I'm grateful for my life. I can learn. I can enjoy my life. I can help others in life. I can help others to live a life worth living." And then later, when she was a medical student and got that remission, she said, "My dream was to be a doctor and take care of people. That's my life purpose. I love taking care of people. I live for taking care of people. I thought, who could be luckier than me? I survived chemo. I survived mini strokes and blood clots in medical school. Even if I live a short life, I lived a life of purpose and service to others. And I was lucky. I'm always grateful in the moment for everything I have." She's also a psychiatrist, and she's worked, her focus is on trauma, and she's helped people with mindset and motivation. So her other book, Goodbye Autoimmune, is focused on mental health. And back to James.
Thanks, Anita. Yeah, so with just 5 minutes out of your 1,000-minute waking day, you can learn how to make the hyper-nourishing green smoothie and optimize your physical and mental health. And you can follow Dr. Brooke Goldner and Thomas Tadlock's recipe to reduce inflammation, boost energy levels, improve physical and mental health, and live your best life. So here we have the all-important ingredients. So it's very simple. Pack nutrient-dense, dark leafy greens from cruciferous vegetable family like kale, chard, spinach, and so that's 75% goes into your blender. And then add a handful of flax or chia seeds for the omega-3 fatty acids. Pour filtered water up to the level of the greens, and then add 25% fruits like ripened banana or frozen mango to give it that sweet taste and make it taste absolutely delicious. And then that's it. That is the recipe. Back to Anita.
Thanks, James. So in her book, Goodbye Lupus, that was her first book that I think was published in 2016. She focuses on her story and also provides this 6-step healing plan with supermarket foods. So I think the foreword in one of her books was written by somebody who benefited from this, her protocol. And she said what she liked about her protocol was you can heal yourself from supermarket foods. You don't have to go to some expensive spa or retreat or take a lot of supplements or any of that. It's actually just go to the produce section. And also, as James said, also you need your omega-3s from flaxseed. So let's just go over her 6 steps. So the nutrition plan has the very, very best foods to feed your body and nourish your cells to decrease inflammation and heal. So what she says is you might feel bad the first 2 weeks due to the release of toxins and withdrawal symptoms. So if you've eaten a lot of processed foods, meat, dairy, and eggs, when you're first on this protocol, you might have that. You might suffer for those couple of weeks, but you got to sort of continue. So she says, on this protocol, you never have to be hungry. You can eat as many veggies as you like. Always keep something with you, she says, when you travel, so you have healthy food and you don't get off plan. You can improve your health by changing your shopping list. So the first point is eliminate animal products. Meat, dairy, and eggs cause massive inflammation. They contribute to lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, and other inflammatory diseases. Eating meat increases the risk of death from all causes. Dairy causes inflammation and is a cancer-causing promoter at the DNA level, according to Dr. T. Campbell. Dairy increases insulin-like growth factor, IGF-1, which promotes breast, prostate, lung, and colon cancer. It raises estrogen levels, which also contributes to cancers. It contributes to osteoporosis. And we have the highest rates in the West where most dairy is consumed. Note, calcium is abundant and easy to consume from green leafy vegetables like kale and broccoli. Dairy is also a trigger of type 1 diabetes. So Dr. Goldner writes, the data is overwhelming that dairy is toxic to humans, end of quote. When she finally did give up dairy, she didn't miss it. It is an addictive thing, so you need to not eat it for a couple of weeks or a month, and then you lose that addiction. Eliminate added oils. Meat, vegetable oils, and processed foods are full of omega-6 acids, which create inflammatory immune cells. Most people suffer from chronic inflammation, which leads to chronic disease. So it's important to eliminate these excess sources of omega-6, such as animal products, processed food, and vegetable oils. You can saute vegetables with water or vegetable broth. You can eat vegetables with avocado or guacamole. She said olive oil is an exception to the list of vegetable oils. So one of the issues we have is people have too much omega-6, but not omega-3, and the ratio is not balanced. But flax oil is a good source of omega-3, which are responsible for creating anti-inflammatory immune cells. Third, eliminate processed food. Processed food may be convenient, and it may or may not be cheap, but it doesn't nourish your body. Processed food lacks nourishment and causes inflammation in the body because it's loaded with oils high in omega-6. Examples of processed foods are refined sugars and grains such as bread, pasta, cereal, and pizza. Fourth, hyper-nourish yourself with raw plant foods. The first three steps are about eliminating animal products, excess oils, and processed foods. The next steps are about nourishing your body. Unfortunately, in the West, many people are malnourished. How do you define hyper-nourish? According to Dr. Goldner, she says, we want to flood your body with nutrients to accelerate the healing process, unquote. The maximum nourishment from plants is eating them fresh and raw. They are full of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Basically, you have to eat the rainbow, different colors for different kinds of vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients. When you cook food, a significant amount of nutrients are destroyed. The same is true if you steam, microwave, and freeze. These all reduce the nutrient content. Dr. G has found that vegetables result in rapid healing. Vegetables tend to have more nutrients and less sugars. And I'd like to quote her. The most important healing food you can get is actually dark green leaves and cruciferous vegetables. Kale has the highest nutrition value, so I recommend you use kale at least 3 days a week. She suggests at least 5 cups of raw greens a day. When she was healing from lupus, she was eating 8 to 12 cups of raw vegetables a day. So she calls this method crowding out. Fifth, consume omega-3 every day. Sorry, omega-3s every day. Omega-3s have anti-inflammatory properties and help with the healing process, and they work at the cellular level. They're an important part of the membrane of cells, which improves cellular function by making cells more flexible and being able to send and receive messages for basic functions, including healing. The word metabolism comes from the Greek word metabolai, which means to change. And finally, sixth is water. The US Food and Drug Administration, FDA, recommends 8 glasses of water. Dr. G recommends much more, like 12 cups or even 16 cups. In Goodbye Lupus, she says 2.8 or 3 liters of water lead to rapid recovery, and 3.8 liters of water is optimal. For those in the United States, for ounces, I think she says around 100 ounces. So water detoxifies and cleanses your body, and dehydration is one of the most important causes of constipation. It's actually the leading cause, and dehydration also leads to headaches and kidney stones. In the next slide, these are some examples of raw vegetables. The cruciferous family of vegetables like broccoli, kale, cabbage, and they have more nutrients, vitamins, and minerals because they are in direct contact with the soil as opposed to a piece of fruit, which is on a tree, and thus are more packed with those nutrients. And I'll pass it back to James.
Thanks. So Thomas Tadlock, Dr. Brooke's husband, is founder of SmoothieShred.com and also co-founder of Goodbye Lupus. He's the best-selling author of Miracle Metabolism, and he's also a corporate wellness trainer. And together with his wife, they've helped countless clients rid themselves of autoimmune disease with the leading disease reversal platform. In his book, Miracle Metabolism, he presents tips on how metabolism works. And he says metabolism can be changed at any age. A lot of people think that's not the case, but it is. Metabolism works, it's how well all the cells in your body are doing their job. And we can assist our bodies with the metabolism. Our bodies need vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, and enzymes to assist with high metabolism and make happier, healthier cells. And Thomas says when your cells aren't working as well as they could, they're just not going to produce the same results. Next slide. Thank you. Yeah, so a common misconception is people with fast metabolism are younger, or older people have slow metabolism. But almost everyone's metabolism could use improvement and could be a lot faster than it is. So if you've got symptoms of slow metabolism, can be like a lot of exercise yields no results. A little bit of junk food results in big weight gains, and it's difficult to shift that weight no matter how hard you exercise. Problem areas don't go away. And then a really key one is sickness lasts for a long time. Like if you get like a common cold, you know, you can't seem to shake it. So here's a question for everyone. If you get a cold, how long does it take you to fully recover? Just a few hours, a few days, or a few weeks? If you could put that in the chat, that would be great. And if it takes more than a few days to recover from a common cold, that's a symptom of slow metabolism. And it used to take Thomas Tadlock 4 to 5 days to get over a cold, sometimes a couple of weeks. But now it takes him 1 to 2 days maximum. And in his book, he says sometimes it can literally be a few hours and he starts feeling better. And then with Brooke, when she had lupus, it would take weeks, whereas now it takes 1 to 2 days maximum. And their children also get healthy within a day or two. Like in the book, they talk about how the children are often bringing home like colds and things from school, which I'm sure a lot of you can relate to. So there's frequently kind of like colds and viruses in the house, but now they recover from it a lot quicker than they used to. So if you have any of those symptoms I just described, that could be a symptom that you have a slower than ideal metabolism. So next slide, thanks. Oh yeah, so you can start, the good news is you can start raising your metabolism straight away. It's important that 75% of the diet comes from high nutrient foods, high amount of omega-3s, flax or chia seeds, and like Anita was saying, high water intake, 96 ounces, 2.8 liters or 12 cups, maybe as much as 16 cups. And yeah, metabolism 100% depends on the health of the trillions of cells in your body, and we have to feed those cells with nourishing food. So just to go over those points. The biggest keys to fast metabolism are produce, specifically vegetables. They have the highest vitamin, mineral, phytonutrient, and nutrient content of all food. Like Anita said, kale is probably one of the best there. They can be found in any local grocery store, and you should eat them in large amounts. Omega-3s, most people do not get enough omega-3s, but it's easy to change that. Just add a handful of flax seeds every day to your smoothie. They're the raw materials that make up the cell walls, omega-3s. They're responsible for the myelin sheath around the brain and body's nerve cells, and they also help brain function. And they also help efficient creation of hormones, and they allow your fat and muscle cells to receive signals to shrink and grow. And they also help make your cells fluid and flexible and able to perform effectively. So really, really important. And yeah, most people do not get enough. And the water, again, just to reiterate that, it's I think in the book they say it's the most important thing, like to get the metabolism moving, is to consume high amounts of water. So 96 ounces, 100 ounces a day, 2.8, 3 liters, something like that. Yeah, and every single biological process in the body happens via the medium of water. Without enough water, everything in your body slows down. And back to Anita.
Thanks, James. Her second book that looks at the protocols is called Goodbye Immune Disease. So our first one is Goodbye Lupus, next one's Goodbye Immune Disease. And in this book, she focuses on mental health. So as I mentioned, she's a psychiatrist. And she says you really have to start with your why. And she writes the word why in capital WHY. What's your why? And that is focusing on your purpose. Because there's so many distractions like addictions, like fat, eating something processed or meat, dairy, and eggs. But if you focus on your why, which is like wanting to live your best life, wanting to be healthy, wanting to not add to the environmental crisis, not wanting to hurt animals, like what's your why? So if you want to live your best life and have more energy and be happy and, and be optimally healthy and also, contribute to the planetary health and animal rights. So you have to focus on your why when you try to work on this approach or her protocol. So she also talks about self-care, which is about relaxation and letting go. So at some point in your day, you should set some time out for yourself and just so it might be going out in nature or taking a walk. She also talks about mindset, sort of finding happiness in the present day, at the present moment, and not fixating on the past or even the future. She says create a sanctuary in a special place where you can use your five senses, your sight, sound, touch, smell, and taste, like a peppermint tea or something. Have a good sleep. That's crucial. So avoiding sleep disruption, which is pro-inflammatory. So she suggests that you set up a routine and set up a consistent sleep schedule. In this book, she has a chapter called Healing is Love. Next slide, please. So I wanted to quote from her, but before I just want to set the context. So she says, realize your body is your best friend. So you need to give it nourishment. And so I'd like just to quote from her book. She says, say it to yourself. I love you. That's why I'm giving you the space to do this healing work. I know I've put everyone else before you in the past. I put you last. I've poisoned you with junk food when what you need was kale and good things because it made me feel better emotionally. I haven't taken care of you the way I should. Now I will. Now I will give you the space and love you so you can do the work that you have to do to heal. And a little later in that chapter, she says, when I realized that it wasn't my body attacking me, but instead I was the one attacking my own body with cheese and soda and poor sleep, and that my body was doing everything it could to survive my constant assaults, it changed everything. I realized my body was my best friend, but that I had not been a true friend in return. When I gave myself true nourishment, it quickly eliminated all the diseases I had carried around for 12 years and I was healthy. The path to healing was becoming a nurturing, loving friend to my body. You need to do the same. So some of the techniques that she looks at is letting go of identities of being sick and doing self-sabotage, letting go of anger, making peace with others and yourself, forgiveness, conquering some bad habits like procrastination, addictive personality, trying to please others. So for example, if you go out and you don't want to order the healthy meal because you want to please others that are ordering something different. So she says, instead of using food for comfort, use food as a fuel and for disease reversal. Instead of taking care of others first, always, you have to take care of yourself first. She says, count your celebrations. So her husband, Thomas Tadlock, did a study where he asked people, what are 5, negative things that happened and 5 positive things that day. And a lot of people had an easier time talking about the negative rather than positive. But what he found was if they were able to talk about the positive, that they focused their energy to fix things and they were more effective. And she has a beautiful example about from kindergarten, and I just want to read it from her book. She's a great writer. So she says, think about how celebrations affect your motivations to do things. Here's a quick example: kindergarten graduation. Why do we have a graduation party for kindergarten? when they've got 12 more grades to do, because the excitement of the celebration keeps them motivated to go back and do more school. Imagine those little kids finishing their first year of school, and all we said was, no big deal, there's 12 more years to go, rather than clapping and hugging them and telling them how proud we are. Do you think they would want to keep learning? Not at all. Why work hard for no reward, emotional or otherwise? I just thought that was a nice example that we could relate to. She also addresses unsupportive thoughts, like and also people saying we should do it, we should do this, should do that, or fortune telling, or disqualifying the positive, or thinking in terms of all or nothing. But she goes into details for each of this. She has suggestions on how to deal with bad days, and putting them in perspective, that there's always a dip in the road, and how do we have pain without suffering? That's such a good question. How do we have pain without suffering? She says, well, it involves focusing on problem solving and self-care. And she suggests starting a success journal where we write down at least 5 things that you did well or that make you feel happy each day. So next, she talks about cravings. She says junk food is the most addictive, and people use it as a source of happiness rather than a source of fuel and nourishment. And it creates a short-lived dopamine high. And she says, quote, I educate them that they do not love cheese, but that they are addicted to it. There's a difference. And so she suggests these steps. Reverse addictions by stop eating meat, dairy, and eggs, processed foods, a lot of vegetable oils, with the exception of olive oil. She says, go through withdrawal and detox from unhealthy food. So be prepared that you might have some withdrawal symptoms. And then third, at the beginning, eating healthy food will not taste good, but in time, it'll taste delicious as your taste buds change and you begin to appreciate the incredible flavors of raw fruits and vegetables. Fourth, do self-care in the meantime, such as education and meditation. And she says, you got to want your health more than you want to get high. So she has programs like the 6-week recovery group. She has Goodbye Lupus protocol, Goodbye autoimmune protocol. So what I want to differentiate in today's webinar is we're talking about the green smoothie protocol. But if people have diseases, she actually has a more stricter protocol, which is called Goodbye Lupus, which involves eating entirely raw for the time that they're focusing on disease reversal. For the Goodbye autoimmune protocol, she adds mental health issues because a lot of people self-sabotage or have difficulties like not getting enough sleep and various stresses or relationship issues that contribute to their unhealthy lifestyle. So in today's talk, we're focusing on the green smoothie, which is just something that you add to whatever you're eating already. But the thing is, when you eat healthy, like a green smoothie, it crowds out sort of the unhealthy foods. And she says, set up a game plan. You need to eat right, drink water, get sleep, get proper sleep, reduce stress, and do self-care. So it's about physical and mental health. And I'll pass it back to James.
Thank you, Anita. So yeah, the green smoothies promote planetary health. Obviously, we're a plant-based treaty here, so this fits with our plant-based treaties menu change, not climate change. This hyper-nourishing green smoothie will help save the environment. 75% of the smoothie consists of greens, and we know that if the world went vegan, we could free up 75% of agricultural land.
So we're going to talk about advocacy now, and Varun's on this panel, and we'd like to show a video. Varun, would you able to share screen? So this is just to give you context before you start sharing. Yes, this is
deputizing today.
James, sorry, can you just stop for a second? So Varun, so yesterday, we in Toronto, in the Toronto area, a number of activists went to Mississauga to try to get their environment committee to consider a motion to endorse the plant-based treaty. And we try to incorporate this campaign in it. So it was a lot of fun. So I'll pass back to Rune.
We are deputizing today, asking Mississauga if they can endorse the plant-based treaty.
So we're here in Mississauga. We're at the City Council chamber. We're about to give a deputation to the Environmental Committee, and we're very excited. We hope that they can consider putting a plant-based approach in their environmental action plan.
Here goes nothing, as they say. It's delicious. And it also tastes very healthy and delicious at the same time, which is great.
And it's not just about the climate. There are 9 planetary boundaries, and animal agriculture is impacting most of these.
The call for a treaty is edging close to 250,000 people, 3,500 groups and businesses, cultural leaders including Sir Paul McCartney, and over 100 scientists.
Student now endorsed the plant-based treaty, and we are continuous collaborators here in Mississauga. We are a non-profit vegan community hub and a sustainable fair trade cafe and free community space.
We're promoting a hyper-nourishing green smoothie as part of our health program.
We urge and invite the city of Mississauga to continue to be proactive and build on this progress by endorsing the plant-based treaty as a companion to the Paris Agreement.
So I really wholeheartedly endorse what you're doing and how can we help and spread the word. I think it's a very important initiative for a sustainable future. Thank you.
The drink, by the way, is delicious, and it's delicious, but it also feels healthy as you're drinking too.
Eat plants, plant trees, endorse the plant-based treaty.
Green smoothies are good. Green smoothies are good.
Thanks, Varun. Thanks for putting that together, and thanks to everyone who went to that event. That was awesome. So the last part of this webinar, we wanted to be a little more interactive and talk about how we can do some advocacy for the green smoothie. So we're going to have this challenge in April, 30-day challenge. And well, we'd ask you if you could invite 5 friends to the challenge and also sign up. So Jennifer posted in the chat how you can sign up for the Green Smoothie Challenge this April. And we'd ask you if you please, invite family, friends, other groups. Maybe you could post about this in other groups and just get as many people to do this challenge for Earth Month as possible. So that's a screenshot of the web page. The next slide shows what we have planned for the 30 days. I know it's very small, but you can also see a lot of blanks. So we're still trying to figure out, some of what we can do. We're going to try to get a live stream with Dr. Brooke Goldner. So Paige, who's on this call, she's in contact with her. So hopefully we'll get that happening for the first day. And then we have some ideas for the first week, which would focus on physical health and how to make the green smoothie. And there's a World Health Day. I don't know if James, if you wanted to jump in on that. So we'd like to, invite some doctors that day, but, and also try to influence institutions, but yeah. There's also, so on the second week, there's mental health, a focus on mental health. So, we have some ideas for that. Green smoothie for, all ages, green smoothie, glowing. Just that a lot of people find that they're happier, their skin glows and so forth. Sorry. How to heal with supermarket foods, and we'll talk about some of the themes that are covered in Brooke Goldner's book. And then week 3 will be planetary health. So some of the science, the climate science and how it relates to health. And then finally, last week is advocacy. So sharing the green smoothies with others, like we did yesterday. We're going to have some dance contests called Shake Up Your Smoothie, Not the Planet dance competition. So when people turn on the blender for 2 minutes, we're going to ask them to dance, and we'll have a dance competition. And then towards the end of the month, we'll have some testimonials. So yeah, if anybody has any ideas, maybe pop them in the chat or message us for some of these other days, like, or how, for the challenge we have this month to work on it and promote it. We might have a special song. So Invisible Bee, who I think might be on this call right now, she's writing a song for us. So we're excited about that. So yeah, if you have any ideas, let us know. And please try to sign up for this and ask your friends and family to sign up as well. It's life-changing. And the reason we're doing it for 30 days is it takes a couple of weeks, for people to get over their addictions and their habit and to adopt a new habit, because our brain is sort of built to just continue what we're doing. And to do something new, you have to try it for a few weeks. So that's one of the reasons we're doing it for 30 days. So yeah, that's just a photo from yesterday. And then next slide. This is the last slide. We thought we would do some role plays. So I don't know if we can bring Kimmy on the panel with Varun, and maybe you guys could do some role plays of how to convince your friend to take the green smoothie challenge.
Hi, Kimmy.
Can you add my video?
Um, I'm gonna change role to attendee. Jennifer, do you know how to do that?
You should be able to do it now, Kimmy.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi. So should we just jump in?
Sure.
So Varun, I've had some green smoothies and I thought they were really amazing. It's super delicious and it's really, really healthy. Do you want to join me this April and try to have a green smoothie every day of the month?
Every day seems like a lot. Why?
Every day, because it's really important that we get our greens every day and omega-3s. So it's just something you can quickly add in. And I have them a lot, but I don't have them every day. So I'm using this month as a test to see how I can really feel and how much healthier I can feel by having it every single day. So do you want to just try it together?
Yeah, so I already eat, I think, plenty of greens every day. I like add in some salads or, stir fries and things like that. So maybe I'm open to trying like maybe once a week.
Well, it's
Like,
important to get it's important to get the greens raw, actually, because you have a lot more nutrients, including antioxidants, that you can only get if it's raw. So why don't we go to the grocery store together tomorrow and we can make our first green smoothie together and then we can talk about it.
Sure. Are you sure about like more nutrients when you consume raw? Is there like, because from what I read is there are certain vegetables, that when you cook them, there are certain nutrients that are more bioavailable. Like for spinach, for example, if you cook them, there's more bioavailability of iron and calcium. And I'm actually low in iron, so I'm trying to eat more, cooked spinach and yeah, those kind of stuff. And like more lentils and stuff.
Yeah, it's super important to get a variety of like different nutrients, but with the green smoothie, you're adding in, so we're not asking you to take away other things, but adding in like all these raw vegetables, because particularly the raw greens, there's actually an enzyme in the cruciferous vegetables that gets broken down when you cook it, and that enzyme makes an antioxidant available that's really powerful. So yeah, adding this in is just an extra
What's that
boost.
enzyme called?
I can't remember what it's called, but when we do the science part of the green smoothie, I'll talk about it.
Okay. Yeah, when you have that. Yeah, I'm open to it. I'd like to learn more for sure. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's go to the grocery store together and get some mangoes and kale.
Yes. Okay.
Cut.
Thank you. That was so amazing. Thank you so much. How would you try to convince like a hospital or a city councilors or an institution? Do you want to do another role play? Or if anybody, I don't know, Kimmy and Varun, do you want to do that role play, or if anybody else wants to join in on that? So one of our goals is, yes, to convince individuals, but how do we also convince a cafe to take on the green smoothie, or hospitals, schools, universities? So I don't know, Kimmy, do you want to try that one as well with Varun?
I can talk about ideas instead of a role play.
Okay.
So ideas for talking to a cafe is one thing, is that because a lot of businesses, like, really the income and the bottom line is the most important thing. So in addition to having it be like a special for the month and it's like Green and Earth Month, they can bring in more customers, but also it's not very expensive to produce. And so that's why we're recommending it to everybody here, because we can all add it to our daily diet. But if they use it and it's like the ingredients aren't very expensive, then they can actually make more money in their business. But I think I would always, whether it was like a hospital or an educational institution or a cafe, I would definitely bring them a green smoothie to try and tell them about the benefits of it.
Thanks, Kimmy. Yeah. So I think we could go back to like Dr. Goldner's why in capital letters, like what, WHY in capitals, like why. And I think like for hospitals, like Dr. Goldner said she had the most unhealthy food she had anywhere when she was at the hospital. And so the why would be have healthy food, but also, as you said, there are other benefits like cost and environmental benefits and benefits for the animals and things like that. So the same with schools, like their children are suffering from an epidemic of, diabetes and all sorts of diseases, and autoimmune diseases are happening younger than ever. So, so also here we could focus on that why, like how do we get, how can people live their best life, their full life? So I think we can make that argument going to city councils. And I don't know if some of the people that were at the city council yesterday, I don't know if they want to jump in, but there was such openness on the part of city staff and the councilors to try the green smoothie and also to promote it. So we're quite excited. So, with the plant-based treaty, we're not only looking at individual diet change, and we're also looking at menu change and system change. And so these are some of the conversations we want to have. We want to do both of them. We want to influence our friends and family, but we also want to influence institutions. But thank you so much for that amazing role play. That was awesome. That was great. Thank you. So we only have a couple of minutes left, and if anybody has any questions, we can take some questions.
There are some questions in the Q&A box, Anita.
Okay, so we have 6 questions. I read that chia seeds in large quantities contain a lot of oxalates. What is your take on that, please, by Gina? I don't have enough information on that. Sorry, I can't. James, or anybody on the panel? Apologies, we might have to get back to you on that. What about protein, which is increasingly important with age? There's a lot of protein in the vegetables. And when Dr. Brooke Goldner was reversing her disease, she also ate tofu, and in addition to that protocol and other protein. What about the summer when green vegetables are hard what about the summer when green vegetables are hard to get? What do we do when vegetables are hard to get? That's a good question. Yeah, access is an issue. Like in Canada, there are greenhouses where we also grow vegetables. But it's an excellent question of access. Paige asks, is it okay to use a variety of greens in the smoothie? What fruit is best? So they recommend the dark leafy greens, such as kale, chard, spinach. And then you say, what fruit is best? It's the fruit is just for taste. It's not essential. You can even have the smoothie without the fruit, but the fruit makes it very delicious. So a ripened banana makes it sweet and creamy if you like that. Frozen mango or frozen pineapple makes the smoothie cool because you don't want a warm green smoothie, of course. But they have many recipes which you can get on their website. So go to their website, Goodbye Lupus, or the other website, Dr. Tadlock's website. James, do you have the URL that we could put in? I think it's called Green Shred, like Smoothie Shred, I think it's called.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And then Cheryl asks, are we still supposed to eat 3 meals per day in addition to the smoothie? It's entirely up to you. Some people drink the smoothie throughout the day. And yes, it's just as James said, it's not to replace. You can keep on eating what you're eating, but you'll eat less of it because you're having the smoothie. So you're going to be, if you start off the morning with it, then you're hyper-nourishing yourself right at the morning, and it gives you a lot of energy. But you can eat it throughout the day. You can make multiple smoothies a day. If you don't have a high-powered blender, you can use, you can instead make salads. And then Jennifer asked, I don't fill my Vitamix so high because it is so thick. I find it difficult to drink. Is it supposed to be that thick? So she says it's up to you if you want to make it thinner, like you just add more water, less greens. You don't have to make it so thick that, your stainless steel straw doesn't, just stays in one place. It's up to you how thick you want to make it. And then Alexandra asks, how many green smoothies a day should a person have? So they're just recommending like a full, like 40 ounces or, but you can have multiple, like you can have as much as you want. So that's what we're recommending for the green smoothie challenge, is just to have like a jug of it, which is about just over a liter. Yeah, so those were the questions. Thank you for the questions and thanks for joining. And I think we were on the hour. So yeah, so Jennifer once again posted the green smoothie challenge on our website. So please, fill out that challenge. Really appreciate it. And if you can tell your friends, and this month we're going to be promoting it and asking you to tag. So we're going to be posting various things on our social media. So yeah, so thank you very much for joining, and please sign the challenge, and we'll have weekly Zooms where we can share our stories. So thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.